This is part 8 of our review of the Tagalog case markers. We're almost done, I promise. Kumusta po kayo? Welcome back. Let's continue our journey in learning a beautiful language, Tagalog, the language of the Philippines. We're continuing our review of the Tagalog case markers, which we've started several videos ago. If you have missed those videos, do check them out so that this current video will make sense to you. The links are in the description box down below. You should know by now that in Tagalog, case markers are used to help a noun stand and announce what that noun is all about. There are three main types of case markers. These are direct marker, indirect marker, and oblique marker. All three are used in conjunction with common and personal nouns in the singular and plural forms. We are finished with the markers for common nouns. In this video, we will continue our discussion on the case markers for proper nouns and will focus on the indirect markers ni and nina. I will discuss the remaining markers in succeeding videos. So, tara! Simulan na natin. But first, please be sure that you are subscribed by simply hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification button so you'd be updated of new videos. Alright? In the last video, we have learned that the indirect markers ni and nina are the Tagalog equivalent of the preposition of and the possessive apostrophe s in English. In essence, they are possessive markers. But ni and nina are more than just possessive markers. They are also used to mark a subject of a sentence, much like the direct markers si and sina, which we have learned in episode 114 and 115. In discussing the direct markers si and sina, we have used the following sample sentences. Take a look at these examples using the verb, subject, object, plus location pattern. I just like to point out first that the sentence patterns we will learn will work best with verbs with mag prefix, which are actor-focused verbs, and with the E prefix, which are object-focused verbs. Alright, let's move on. Nagbigay si Marie ng tinapay sa bata. Marie gave a bread to the child. Marie is the focus. That's why we use the direct marker si. Si Marie. We use ng tinapay, a bread, because it is not the focus of the sentence. Kumukuha si June ng pera sa bangko. June is taking money from the bank. We have learned that location can be a physical location or a person, the target of the verb and where the object is directed. Think of it as the prepositional phrase in English. Moving on. Nagluto si Peter ng adobo sa kusina. Peter cooked adobo in the kitchen. Bibili si Tess ng mga prutas sa tindera. Tess will buy fruits from the shopkeeper. With the direct markers si and sina, the verbs used are actor-focused verbs. On the other hand, object-focused verbs don't work with si and sina. Object-focused verbs work with the indirect markers ni and nina. That's why ni and nina can also be used to mark the subject of a sentence. Let's convert the same sample sentences with the same English translation but using object-focused verbs with ni and nina using the same verb, subject, object plus location pattern. Here goes. Binigay ni Marie ang tinapay sa bata. Marie gave the bread to the child. We use the indirect marker ni in ni Marie because the subject Marie is not the focus of the sentence. The focus is the bread, which uses the direct marker ang tinapay. Moving on. Kinuha ni June ang pera sa bangko. June took the money from the bank. Niluto ni Peter ang adobo sa kusina. Peter cooked the adobo in the kitchen. Binili ni Tess ang prutas sa tindera. Tess bought the fruit from the shopkeeper. Si, ni, and nina can also become subject markers. The question is, when do you use si and sina? And when do you use ni and nina as subject markers? Well, it depends on what you wish to emphasize. Remember, in our lesson on verbs, actor-focused verbs are used to focus on the actor or the doer of the action. In this example, nagbigay si Marie ng tinapay sa bata. Marie gave a bread to the child. The focus is si Marie, who performed the action of giving the bread to the child. Sentences with actor-focused verbs are the equivalent to the active voice in English. Use object-focused verbs if you wish to emphasize the object of the sentence or what or who is the recipient of the action. In the example, binigay ni Marie ang tinapay sa bata. Marie gave the bread to the child. It is the ang tinapay, the bread, which is the focus of the sentence. Sentences with object-focused verbs are the equivalent to passive voice in English. At its core, the sample sentence means the bread was given by Marie. In this sense, you can see the possessive nature of the marker ni. The act of giving the bread is possessed by Marie. I hope that makes sense. Let's have some more examples of sentences with actor-focused verbs and object-focused verbs using the appropriate case markers. Here goes. Let's start with a sentence with an actor-focused verb and with an unnamed subject. Like, nagbigay ang babae ng tinapay sa bata. The lady gave a bread to the child. Now, let's give the ang babae, the lady, a name. Let's say her name is Marie. Nagbigay si Marie ng tinapay sa bata. Marie gave a bread to the child. Now, let's convert these two sentences using the object-focused verb equivalent. Binigay ng babae ang tinapay sa bata. The lady gave the bread to the child. Binigay ni Marie ang tinapay sa bata. Marie gave the bread to the child. Kumuha ang babae ng pera sa bangko. The lady took money from the bank. Kumuha si Marie ng pera sa bangko. Marie took money from the bank. Kinuha ng babae ang pera sa bangko. The lady took the money from the bank. Kinuha ni Marie ang pera sa bangko. Marie took the money from the bank. Nagsabi ang opisyal ng pahayag sa radyo. The official said a statement on radio. Nagsabi si Director Ramos ng pahayag sa radyo. Director Ramos said a statement on radio. Sinabi ng opisyal ang pahayag sa radyo. The official said the statement on radio. Sinabi ni Director Ramos ang pahayag sa radyo. Director Ramos said the statement on radio. Bumili ang nanay ng ticket sa takilera. The mother bought a ticket from the teller. Bumili si Tess ng ticket sa takilera. Tess bought a ticket from the teller. Binili ng nanay ang ticket sa takilera. The mother bought the ticket from the teller. Binili ni Tess ang ticket sa takilera. Tess bought the ticket from the teller. Nangutang ang parokyano ng produkto sa tindero. The customer loaned a product from the vendor. Nangutang si June ng produkto sa tindero. June loaned a product from the vendor. Inutang ng parokyano ang produkto sa tindero. The customer loaned the product from the vendor. Inutang ni June ang produkto sa tindero. June loaned the product from the vendor. If you're learning something new today so far, kindly hit the like button because that will help this channel a lot. Alright? So, ngayon, ituloy na natin. Let's continue. Magmamaneho ang tsuper ng kotse sa kalsada. The driver will drive a car on the road. Magmamaneho si Carlo ng kotse sa kalsada. Carlo will drive a car on the road. Imamaneho ng tsuper ang kotse sa kalsada. The driver will drive the car on the road. Imamaneho ni Carlo ang kotse sa kalsada. Carlo will drive the car on the road. Nag-abot ang mga residente ng tulong sa mga nasunugan. The residents extended help to the fire victims. Nag-abot sina Ed at mga kapitbahay niya ng tulong sa mga nasunugan. Ed and his neighbors extended help to the fire victims. Inabot ng mga residente ang tulong sa mga nasunugan. The residents extended the help to the fire victims. Inabot nina Ed at mga kapitbahay niya ang tulong sa mga nasunugan. Ed and his neighbors extended the help to the fire victims. Nanghuli ang mga mangingisda ng isda sa laot. The fishermen caught fish from the sea. Nanghuli sina Cabaldo at Canardo ng isda sa laot. Old Man Baldo and Old Man Nardo caught fish from the sea. Hinuli ng mga mangingisda ang isda sa laot. The fishermen caught the fish from the sea. Hinuli ni Cabaldo at Canardo ang isda sa laot. Old Man Baldo and Old Man Nardo caught the fish from the sea. There you have it. We have just completed our discussion on the indirect markers ni and nina and have just compared its use with other markers we have just reviewed so far. In my next video, we will be closer to the completion of our review of the Tagalog case markers and we will focus on the oblique markers, kai and kina. Be sure to catch that. I will see you next time. Maraming salamat po at hanggang sa susunod.